We often perceive our actions through a lens of immediate impact. A harmless action seems inconsequential, like a ripple in a vast ocean. We don't expect it to cause a tsunami, but sometimes these seemingly insignificant choices can set off a chain reaction. This can lead to significant and often negative outcomes. The illusion of harmlessness lies in our inability to foresee the potential consequences of our actions, especially when the initial impact is minimal. Consider the act of littering. Throwing a single candy wrapper on the ground may seem harmless. After all, it's just one wrapper, right? However, this seemingly insignificant action, when multiplied by millions, contributes to a much larger problem: environmental pollution. The same principle applies to our digital footprint. Sharing a funny meme or a personal anecdote online might seem harmless, but in the age of social media, information spreads rapidly and can easily be taken out of context. What starts as a harmless joke can quickly escalate into a reputation-damaging incident. The illusion of harmlessness can be dangerous because it lulls us into a false sense of security. We fail to recognize the potential consequences of our actions, especially when those consequences are not immediately apparent. Imagine a single domino standing upright. It seems insignificant on its own, but flick that domino and it sets off a chain reaction, toppling countless others in its path. This is the domino effect, and it illustrates how small choices can have far-reaching consequences. One compelling example of this is the 2008 financial crisis. It was triggered in part by the proliferation of subprime mortgages. These seemed like relatively harmless financial instruments at the time. However, as these risky mortgages began to default, they set off a chain reaction that rippled through the entire global economy. Another example is the spread of misinformation online. A single fabricated news article shared by a handful of people might seem harmless initially, but as the article gains traction and is shared more widely, it can quickly snowball into a widespread belief, influencing public opinion and even inciting violence. The domino effect highlights the interconnectedness of our actions. What might seem like an isolated choice can have unintended consequences that extend far beyond our immediate sphere of influence. The consequences of our actions are not always immediate or obvious. Sometimes they accumulate gradually over time, like grains of sand piling up until they form a dune. This is the power of cumulative actions. Take, for example, the habit of procrastination. Putting off a single task might seem harmless in the moment. However, if procrastination becomes a habit, it can lead to missed deadlines, increased stress, and a decline in the quality of our work. Similarly, the effects of climate change were not immediately apparent. For decades, the gradual increase in greenhouse gas emissions seemed like a distant threat. However, the cumulative effect of these emissions has led to rising sea levels, more extreme weather events, and other significant environmental changes. The power of cumulative actions underscores the importance of long-term thinking. We must consider not just the immediate impact of our choices, but also their potential consequences over time. The world is a complex system, and our actions can have unintended consequences that we may not always foresee. However, by understanding the principles of the illusion of harmlessness, the domino effect, and the power of cumulative actions, we can become more aware of the potential hidden dangers in our everyday choices. It is essential to cultivate a sense of responsibility for our actions, no matter how small they may seem. We must think critically about the potential consequences of our choices, both in the short and long term. By recognizing the hidden dangers in seemingly harmless actions, we can make more informed decisions that contribute to a better future for ourselves and for generations to come.